Hello, my name is Bradley and I'm your host of The Internal Game. Happy New Year to everybody. I did want to get on here and make a video for the new you coming into the new year, right? I'm not one for waiting to make changes, like waiting on a certain day or a special occasion. Changes need to be made in the now, the only place they ever can be made, but we're all still doing this human experience and we've all collectively agreed that we should use clock time and calendar days for some organization, and I'm cool with that, all right? So first, thank you for being here. Thank you for being a part of this channel. Thank you for helping me grow and learn. And I've learned so much from you guys. I'm beyond grateful. So I want to say thank you for everyone who watches, subscribes, just participates in general, like the whole thing. Thank you. And let's do it. Okay, so self-image, how we see ourselves dictates how we see the world, right? If I think I'm the abandoned one, right? Like if I look at the world through the lens of my past, which pretty much everybody's doing, right? All the cool kids are doing it. Then when I get into a relationship, I'm going to think in those terms, probably going to create some unwanted experience because I look at myself as someone who gets abandoned, right? That's exactly how I was. If I see myself as a catch, if I see myself as the best option, the only option, absolutely amazing, absolute perfection, things along that nature like I do now, I tend to look at the world like that. And in my relationship, I'm like, man, this is amazing. I can have a healthy, harmonious relationship with my wife because why wouldn't I? Where's she going? I'm the best, right? Like I can look at her as the best, because that's another thing with self-concept. When you think favorably of yourself, you tend to think favorably of everyone else, right? But a self-concept is still just a concept. It's still limited. The mind can't grasp what we actually are, who we actually are. What we actually are is consciousness, right? You can call it God, you can call it the universe. Eckhart has a good way of calling it the unmanifested, which is my favorite way of calling it, or my favorite way of talking about it, because it just seems so powerful and so like untouchable, like the unmanifested. So you actually are the unmanifested, manifesting as a human being, and you're experiencing all of its countless, infinite manifestations of form, right? That's how big you actually are. So even when we have a self-concept that like, I'm great, I'm amazing, I'm good in relationships, I'm lucky, I'm whatever, what have you, right? It's still just a concept. It still can't comprehend, the mind still can't comprehend how big, amazing, and miraculous that you actually are. Like, that's why Neville says your self-concept is the most important viewpoint, but you are infinitely greater than you think that you are. So like I've talked about in videos before, like the idea is to realize that you are the unmanifested, to realize that you are God, to realize that you are the universe, right? You're not putting something out in the universe. You're not praying for anything. You are declaring it, because guess what? You are the universe. You are the God. You're not giving it up to anything. You're leaving it up to you, right? So that's how powerful that you are. So when you look at it from this point of view, like I'm the unmanifested, I am God, I am the universe, I am consciousness, right? Then you get to pick your human experience. You can say, okay, well, I want to be amazing. I want my human self, my human experience to have a really cool experience. And I know that state of being creates reality, and I know that my identity creates my reality, and I know that my I am creates my reality. Then I might as well go ahead and boss up, right? I'm not a particular affirmation guy. I'm more of a tell a lovely story about myself and the world kind of guy. There's one that I always stick to, is that I'm just absolute perfection, and that that everything works out for me, like simple stuff. But other than that, it's just kind of walking throughout the day and tying it all in. Like I actually like to live in the present moment and appreciate the trees and the love and life in general, because there's fullness in that. And you're creating from fullness, right? Like it's the state of being of already like not lacking. So like anyway, I tell a favorable story about like how I want things to go when I think about them. I think about money, I tell a favorable story about money, and then I link it to myself, and I said, because I'm perfect and money wants to be around me. Like I do great things with money. I love money. When I think about my wife, I think about like how great our relationship is, how wonderful she is, because how I think about her is how she shows up. Always remember that what you believe and what you think about somebody else, you wake that up in them. I don't care if they are the nicest person to everybody in the entire world. If you think they suck and they're mean, they're going to suck and be mean to you. So be careful with your judgments, okay? Everything, everyone is connected. I guess I'm just going to recap, I guess, the past month of my videos here. Even longer than that, but you get what I'm saying. This is when the channel really grew. But like everything and everyone is connected. Everything is consciousness, so logically that means everything's connected. So what you believe to be true, you experience in your world. You attract people and circumstances that match this. You're the only thinker in your reality. Okay? What you think about the world is true for you. If you believe in racism, you'll experience it. If you don't believe in it, you won't experience it. I'm not saying it doesn't exist. I'm saying everything exists. But and your actual experience, whatever you believe to be true, you will see. If you what could be true for somebody else may not be true for you. But what is true for both of you guys is that you guys are both consciousness, right? Also, if you listen to somebody and you take on their belief, now it is true for you. Whatever you accept to be true is going to be true for you. Whatever you think people are thinking about you, they are. And even if they're not, if you persist in it, they are, they will. That's why it's so easy to get these specific people that you guys are talking about, and all you got to do is stay out of your own way. What's more recap here? I didn't think about this video before. If you're in a no contact situation, there's never a no contact. You are connected, like I just said that. Everything is connected, nothing's separate from you. So just because they physically may not be texting or contacting you and told you that you suck and stay away from them, does not mean they don't feel you and hear you, because the whole world feels you and hears you, especially when you have some specific person in mind, okay? So your job, if you're in no contact, is to tell a story of how wonderful you and this person are, and how wonderful they are, and drop your judgments of them, and drop your doubts. And like I talked about yesterday, I'm just recapping here for the end of the year. Just I guess one nice little video. I don't know. Doubts, fears, all that stuff is easier to drop when you realize inside first, outside secondary. Whatever you're saying in here must play out there eventually, and that should help you stop your reaction time. If that's reacting to things, if it's still a problem for you, then you need to get that belief more solid, that inside first, outside secondary. Embodying states, you declare it. Mark 11:24, when you believe that you have received something, or no, when you pray, believe that you have received it and you shall receive it, right? So that's not a question to God. That's not saying, God, please give me this. That's saying, I have this, I am this, because you are God, right? You're giving it to yourself, like Neville says, life makes no mistakes, and he always gives man which man first gives himself. Mark 11:24, believe you've received it. Embody the I amness of whatever it is that you want. Easier to do when you realize that you are the unmanifested, you are the I am, that you are God itself, you are consciousness, and then you choose the experience, you embody that experience by telling a story, declaring that you're already that now, and living there, and not going against it, not doubting it, things like that. Real simple, right? And the reason I say it's real simple is because I do a lot of one-on-ones. Thank you for everyone who does that. I learned so much from you, and I definitely get video ideas because I'll just be talking and like, oh. But the reason that people are having trouble with just stepping into a state and staying there, alongside from the old identity, like its need to stay consistent with how it sees itself, is that you have, up until that point, you have learned so much different information. Do this for 21 days. Do that for, write this down 3 times. The 3-6-9 technique or whatever. You have learned about nighttime affirmations, subliminals. You've learned all these things to program you, right? Well, you're not a robot. And when it clicked for me, I'm not saying that the subconscious mind can't be reprogrammed, because it can. I'm just saying, but you are not a robot. You don't have to go down the same route that I went of just endlessly trying to, like, no, did that work? Did that work? Did that work? Oh, I don't see anything. Did that work? Did that work? Did that work? Like, did that affirmation work? Did I say it enough times? Like, and it puts you in a chaotic state of being. And I remember getting to a point where I was like, I feel more chaotic right now than I do before I even found out about this fucking law. Like, it was just like, fuck, dude. And so when I got to the point that was like, hey, I'm just gonna be it, because I know if I be it, I gotta see it. And it was like, yeah. And I know the inside first, outside secondary. And then I had this question in my head. I was like, when I was fucking listening to, like, Jesus say, seek first the kingdom of heaven, inside, right? Seek first the kingdom of heaven, the present moment, like the love, the bliss, the abundance, all that stuff that already exists inside of you. Go within, seek first the kingdom of heaven, and all things shall be added on to you, right? As a byproduct of that state of being, right? Did he say, hey, before you seek the kingdom of heaven, before you go within, you can't access it until you fucking affirm something for 21 days. You cannot access it until you change your beliefs. You cannot access it until you script. You cannot access it until you, fill in the fucking blank, dude. Listen to nighttime affirmations for 21 days. Again, not hating all these things. If those things help you, do you. I'm just saying, I had way too many rules on how to get things. Fuck all that. It's real simple. You embody the state, and you do that with a clear decision that you are going to do it. And I'm just going to be real with you guys. Maybe you haven't had enough hurt. Maybe you haven't had enough just being tired of things not changing and you not changing, and you keep going a little bit. But it really is just about, like, okay, I'm done with this, and I'm going to step in this fucking state. And I know I'm probably going to fall sometimes. It's okay. But I'm going to get right back in that motherfucker. When I do get negative thoughts, or when I do get, like, not so good feelings in the state of being, I'm just not going to believe it. And then I'm going to let it pass. I'm going to jump right back on the horse, because I am God, I'm the universe, I'm the unmanifested, and I do whatever I want in my world. Like, this is your world. And the sooner you can put your sheriff fucking badge on, the sooner that you can put your king crown on, like, or queen crown on, the better that it's going to be for you. So you go within and you create the experience. Like, you become the experience that you want to see. What's that saying that, like, you see on bathrooms all the time when I would go in the urinal or something? It's like, be the change you seek to experience. That's manifestation in one sentence, people. Be the change you seek to experience. If you want peace and you're like, man, my house is just, then be peaceful. If you want money, if you want abundance, look around at the abundance that's already here. There's fucking infinite trees. They're still growing. The grass, the blades of grass, the clouds, air, restaurants, buildings, money in general. Like, you look for the abundance in general, and and whatever you focus on, you become, and you embody this abundant mindset of, like, there's so much of everything. It's infinite. Like, and you tell a story of your money situation and your life experience situation being abundant, all that stuff. Don't complicate it. If you want to be a YouTuber, get your phone out like I did and start recording some videos. They're not that some, in my experience, it wasn't nice for the first little while. It took me actually 8 months before this stuff actually clicked. I believed it to be true. All right, I had some success throughout my life in different areas, but, like, I still wasn't grasping the whole, like, no, this is every area of my life. Boss up, Bradley. And when I did that, channel started growing. I met you fine people, and I'm able to help and well, I don't like using the word help, but able to remind you guys, and you guys help yourself, and it's just beautiful, right? But I wanted to be a YouTuber. I have to claim that I am that. That means be that, and then you see that. If you want to be in a relationship, what are your thoughts on relationships? Like, maybe you're not in one right now and you want one. Like, what are your thoughts on relationships? Are you putting out thoughts of love? Are you being in a place where, like, is inviting for a relationship? Are you telling a story of, like, oh man, like, I always have so many options to, a lot of people pursue me. A lot of, you don't have to see it to start telling yourself that. And if you're not seeing it and you're not telling yourself that, I mean, good luck, right? So tell yourself a story of how easy it is to meet people and how people like you and they want to be around you. And tell stories of how good you are in relationships and how you've always been good in relationships. And you invite this in with this new story, and your only job again is to not go against it. Self-concept, talk yourself up. Become your own best friend. That's my favorite thing I say in the one-on-ones. Become your own best friend, people. Like, if my friend Brandon was to call me up right now and say, hey man, I just want to die, I fucking hate this place, I hate my life, dude, I suck at everything, the first thing I would say is like, whoa, 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 first of all, where are you at, dude? Like, I love you, man. Like, it's gonna be all right. Do you know who you are, how incredible you are, right? But I wasn't doing that for myself, and I found myself in situations where the world was beating me the fuck up. But guess what? I had already beat myself up. I had already abandoned myself, so that means the world has to abandon me. Because life makes no mistakes and always gives man which man first gives himself. That includes the unfavorable. Don't forget that. So whatever you're doing within has to be reflected out. People treat you how you treat you. But be your own best friend. And that means even when you fall in states, right? And you're in a not so good state, you don't beat yourself like, man, I fucking suck. I spiraled again. I can't get this stuff figured out. Like, you're beating yourself up. That's not how somebody who loves himself does. That's not what somebody who treats himself as the most important person and believes that they're the most important person in the world, that's not what they do, because they wouldn't do that to anybody else that they loved. Keep things simple. Check in with your state of being. Check in with your state of being. If you are chasing somebody, your state of being is saying, you are not important, that person's more important than me. My focus is on them. And guess what? Their focus has to be on them. If you are in a place where you're trying to get a specific person, maybe you got hot and cold behavior, all that stuff, because you're hot and cold, right? Within self, with doubts and confidence and things like that. I was talking about this last night. Check in with your state of being on what you're actually doing with your actions. Like, what you're actually doing. What is it actually saying? What is it actually saying? Not what your lips are saying. What is your state of being actually saying? If someone is hot and cold and they see you whenever they want to see you, and let's just say you have plans to hang out with your friend who doesn't abandon you, by the way, and you guys are really good friends, right? And your assumptions are good over here, everything's good, and your friend's a great person, and you're like, hey, we're going to a movie, and you have plans to go see the movie, and then your specific person calls you and says, hey, I actually want to see you tonight. If you blow off plans with that friend, that's exactly why you're in the position that you're in the first place, because you're choosing people over you, you're choosing people over people that treat you fine. And again, it's all still coming from you, but you get what I'm saying. If you are being doubtful about your text messages, was that enough? Or are they going to like check in with your state of being? Ask yourself, if I really thought I was the most important person in my life, and I really thought that I got what I wanted, and I really believe that like I'm the king here, would I be doing this? I'll tell you, if you're chasing somebody, if you're accepting breadcrumbs from somebody, no. Okay, let's move on by the specific people. Always check in with your state of being. And choose you, for God's sakes. If you don't choose you, no one's going to choose you. Just real simple. What else we got here? Trying to think. Yeah, don't judge people, okay? What you judge, you keep in your experience. Includes with your specific person, or anybody for that matter. Like, ask yourself, what experience do I want to have in life? Do I want a really cool in my relationship because I have all these great assumptions about my partner and my person now, and everything's going great, but I get to work and work fucking sucks because I hate it there, and I judge it, and I judge everybody in there, and then I get that experience, and that's probably the reason why I think my partner's my only happiness, because I put all my happiness in this person, and I've let the rest of my areas of my life go to the wayside. Like, just be logical here, people. If you want a cool experience, stop judging, think highly and favorably of everything, which is going to be easy to do when you think highly and favorably of yourself, which is also easier to do when you realize how perfect and who and what you actually are. Okay? I tell people on one-on-ones, I'm like, man, I don't have a fucking game plan for you. Okay? You are the game plan. I don't tell anybody do this percentage of the time and this percentage of the time. I don't tell anybody, hey, I'll tell them, hey man, maybe in the morning when you first wake up, set yourself up, tell yourself that you're perfect, things like that. At the end, do the same thing, tell a cool story throughout the day. Like, it's real simple, but the main thing is just I just have a conversation, and I'm just so in the zone with these people that like I know what's going on. I can tell where they're at. I already know what they're doing, and I can say the right words where they're like, oh, I do that. I see what you're saying now, right? Because it's not so much about having a fucking technique and having a set schedule of doing things and saying this many times and this. It's about realizing who the fuck you are and like how you're actually acting in the moment and what that's creating, and then really being done with it and making a decision to do something different, right? Because when I start putting limits on myself like that, like I have to do this many times, like I start overthinking it, making it too much. Like if I say it's done, it's fucking done now. Just like you guys, like if you say it's done, it's done. You don't have to question if you've affirmed enough, like I did. You don't have to question if that was enough time for the subconscious programming in your nighttime affirmation. You don't have to listen to these things. You can. If these things make you feel better, do them. But I'm saying, like, you don't have to put limits on yourself. God does not have limits. Only the human mind creates them. And don't let the what you see now, the 3.5 thousand subscribers thing fool you. Like, first of all, you have I saw a comment. You have no idea what my intention is. And first of all, you have no idea what I'm doing or what the world is doing with me to create what I'm creating, to experience what I'm experiencing. I put out love, baby, and love comes back. I put out abundance, and abundance comes back. I become that, and I experience that. So there is, and someone asked me yesterday, can you show us what I've manifested? Okay, listen, I don't want to be a success story for you guys. You don't need to watch success story after success story and be like, oh, that person did that, let me try that, because it's just more limits. No one is you. You are you. And you're always getting back what you have going on in here. It doesn't matter what someone else did. Like, where I went from in my life to like just my self-concept in general, how shitty that it was, how I hated myself and drank myself to fucking death almost. Like I've had seizures from stopping drinking alcohol. Like I don't think you guys understand. Like it was really, really bad. And for me to be standing here with the community that I have in the love and in the light, like where I'm at right now, and this beautiful view behind me, talking to you guys, it doesn't matter what car I got. It doesn't matter like what this house looks like over here. Like, I mean, it doesn't, it's not, I mean, all these things are great. Have your full human experience, but it's about becoming who you are. Or remembering who you are. Like, sometimes you have to drop the manifestations altogether. I'm not saying I don't have these things. I'm just saying that, like, where you look at where I was at, I honestly would have been happy. Like, from that state of being, I would have been happy with just not drinking. Like, and just staying where I was. Like, it was bad, right? And this isn't to, it's just to prove a point here that, like, stop looking for success stories. You know you. You know where you're at, you know where you've been, you know all these things, but like, you decide where you go from here. You don't need a success story to compare to. This is your life. Stop searching. Start becoming. Like, my life is fucking dope, right? But it didn't really click off like that until I really stepped into who and what it was that I was, and I am. Okay, so how long have we been going? 23 minutes. I don't really like doing the super long ones, but I just wanted to recap for the year for you guys. Just boss up. Like, keep it real simple. Look around. Like, look at your finances, right? Is that how you want them? If not, boss up. Tell the story of how it's gonna be. Don't react to the fucking 3D bank statement, and just know that, like, what you say in here has to play out eventually, and you live there predominantly. Keep it real simple. If you want your person, that's fine. Remember, they are a preference in your reality. They are not you, or they are not your whole reality. And by the way, if you've made it this long and you're going for a specific person, I'll make a video about this, but I again came up in a one-on-one. When you judge these people, when you think that they don't love you, you think they don't like you, especially when, like, you've had time where you've spent together and, like, they did, and then your insecurities and your fears and doubts like created some unfavorable circumstances, you are holding them in a shitty state, and that's your fault. So because of what you did to yourself, you gave them the sentence. And then with this self-fulfilling prophecy, you're like, oh, see, you knew they were an asshole. I knew it. You suck. And you gave them the sentence, and you're keeping them in these chains in this fucked up state of being that they don't want to be in with you. So drop it. Stop judging them. Love them. Look at them in a favorable light. Easier to do when you look at yourself in a favorable light. They'll come back because they didn't go anywhere. They are you. They're an extension of you. I say all this stuff with love, I promise. What else is there? Always believe in yourself. Like I talked about yesterday, believe in yourself, knowing that like what you say in here goes, no matter what. Always put yourself first, because if not, you'll be second to everybody else. And it's not some selfish gig. It really is like you can only be the best when you are making yourself the most important. Yeah, guys. Embody a new you. Live in imagination as the person who is already what you like. Is already the experience that you want to have. Become the experience. You don't have to complicate it. New story is the true story. New you is the true you. Your only job, don't go against it, don't doubt it. Right? Easy to do when you realize inside first, outside secondary. You don't have to change a bunch of beliefs. You just need to really hone in on that one. Inside first, outside second. I love you guys. I'm gonna cut it. That's pretty much all I got. Tomorrow I think I'm gonna make a video about like, do people influence us? Short answer is yes. I'll explain it a little bit, but it's not, or I'll explain tomorrow, but it's not gonna be like, it doesn't matter if they influence you or not. You're conscious and you're the creator of your life. So we'll get it figured out. I love you guys. If you guys want to do the one-on-one stuff, make sure you hit me up. If you are doubtful, fearful, insecure right now, you don't have to live that way anymore. It is simple as claiming it and staying there. A lot easier to do when you realize that you actually are this perfection. You are the unmanifested. Young grasshoppers, you are the unmanifested. You are God. You are the universe. You don't have to hope and pray anymore. You just have to be. That's all I got. I love you. Happy New Year. See you guys tomorrow.